out there, YouTube friends. I am Cindy and you are watching Sincerely Cindy Settle. I finally have that book review for you. Today we're going to talk about the Songbook of Benny Lament by Amy Harmon. I'm going to tell you the 3 things that I liked about this book and the 3 things that I disliked about this book. So stick around. Okay, so the Songbook of Benny Lament, I apologize it's taken me so long to get this review to you guys. I know I've been talking about it for the last several weeks. I did finish it quite some time ago. Amy Harmon did send it to me as an ARC, which I greatly appreciate. I just love, love, love this cover. I think it's beautiful, so I'm excited to have it on my shelf. So I was super hyped about this book as the pre-release was getting hyped up, you know, as authors do. And I love her writing. I've read several of her books. Some I've liked, some I have not liked. So this one I was kind of excited about. I knew it was set in New York City, historical fiction. I'm not a huge fan of historical fiction, but I thought 1960s, well, maybe not, you know, it's not too far off. Maybe I will like that time period. Romance, music, New York City nightclubs, all that kind of stuff. So I thought I would really love this book, and I was looking for a 5-star, so I had it really hyped up in my head. However, I only ended up giving this one a 3-star. I enjoyed the book. But let me give you a quick summary, and then I will give you the 3 things I liked and the 3 things that I disliked. So I made myself some notes as I was reading. So I did know that it might take me a little bit of time to get this done with work commitments as well as my unboxings, which reminds me, if you're new here, welcome. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you do not miss any of my uploads. I do unboxing, clothing hauls, book reviews, although the book reviews have kind of taken a back seat simply because I can't read enough to keep up with doing them once a week. So we are going to see them every now and then. Probably on Thursday uploads will be some bookish type of content, but maybe not every Thursday. So here we go. So as I said, the book is set in New York City in the 1960s, which I did enjoy that. She did a good job of presenting that historical fiction element in that time period during in the city, as far as what I know. So a little background, Benny is a songwriter, and he was raised by a single father. He did know his mother. His mother passed away when he was young. And he had come home for a visit with his dad. So he kind of travels around as a songwriter. So his dad encourages him to go to see this band at this club. And that is when he hears and he sees Esther Mine. So he knows that she has a really unique voice, a unique sound to her. She ends up meeting Benny, like kind of stalking him late at night, and begs him to become their manager. So he eventually agrees to write one song for them, but does not want to become their manager. One song, of course, turns into more songs. They end up performing together, doing interviews together, etc., etc. So their relationship grows as a result of her begging him to become their manager. So from the growth of their relationship, there's a lot of course, this is in the 1960s, so there's a lot of prejudice and racial discrimination around their relationship. Benny is a white male and Esther is a biracial female. So there's a lot of prejudice going on around them and things that they are concerned about that you get a feeling from them that they're concerned about. So there's a lot of layers to the plot line. So you have the love story, you have the prejudice and the injustice toward Esther and Benny and their band. Then you have a New York City, a mob connection. Benny's family is connected with the mob, so there is some drama going on in relation to that as well. And then there is some secrets, some lies, some mystery that we are trying to figure out as the story progresses. So there's some family dysfunction in there, not just with what Benny learns, but also what Esther learns about her family. So there's a lot of that drama going on as well. So I was pleased to see that it wasn't just a love story, that there was a lot more to it. I had a hard time feeling everything. Maybe there was too much going on. I'm not really sure, but it just didn't hit that 5-star mark for me. So a couple of the things that I really did like. Let me give you the 3 things that I liked first, and then I'll give you the 3 things that I disliked. So Amy Harmon just does a seamless, she's just seamless when she writes. So she was able to write all of these layers very clearly and very concisely. The book is set up in such that it is an interview portion, and then that interview portion, the next chapter goes into what exactly happened during that interview. So Benny is doing an interview in I think it's 69, which is 9 or 10 years later from the time that their relationship and the band kind of started. So he's talking about all of those things, and then we go into the, okay, here and now in that next chapter. So she does a really good job of making it clear what time period is going on, who everybody is, and all of that good stuff. I really, really liked Benny's dad, although he was not in the story for a long period of time. You could just tell that he wanted a good life for Benny when he was growing up. He was honest with Benny as he got older. He did the best that he could to be a really good provider and to meet his needs, even though he did not have a mother. He loved him and he took care of him just like a father should. The third thing that I really liked Esther and her character. She was very strong, very independent. She went after what she wanted, regardless of any barriers that may have been presented to her. She was going to barrel through those barriers, regardless. So she didn't let anyone or anything get into her way. She was going to plow forward no matter what, regardless of any racial prejudice that was brought her way. She really reminded me of, when I pictured her as a young Eartha Kitt. So if you don't know who Eartha Kitt is, of course, she was before my time as well. Not quite that old, but she was before my time as well. But I will post a picture up here so that you can get an idea of kind of who she reminded me of in terms of physical appearance. And this wasn't a typical romance that you see, this buff, brooding, alpha male kind of romance. He was not described in that way at all. He was more described like, I think the term that they used was a beautiful ugly. So I don't know exactly what that means, but he was not presented in a way that made it seem as though he was this, hot musician, performer kind of character. He was very much presented as more of a just everyman kind of guy in this story. So a couple of things that I did not like about this story. Again, this is just my opinion. There are a lot of rave reviews about this book, so I encourage you to read Goodreads to see what you think. And I would love to hear what you thought of this book. Did you love it? Tell me why you loved it. Did you not like it? Tell me why you didn't like it. I like getting your all's feedback about the books that I read. So, number one, it's historical fiction. I've tried, and I'm just not a fan. Like I said, I thought that it not being too far back and me having some knowledge and knowing what was going on at that time in history might have made it a little easier for me, but I'm just not a fan. Secondly, like I said before, there were parts that were very slow for me. And so it was kind of hard to get into. It wasn't a book that I was like, oh, I got to see what happened next. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, what is this mystery going on? Who did it? I didn't have any of that. And that was unfortunate. And I was looking for that. I always look for those kind of things in a book. And thirdly, I just was not invested in the love story of Benny and Esther. I just had a hard time feeling their struggles. I had a hard time feeling their love for each other. I had a hard time understanding, I guess, and feeling the difficulties and the barriers that they were having as their relationship was growing and developing, and feeling their pain in that regards. So I don't know if there was just so much going on and there wasn't enough focus on how they were feeling. I just couldn't connect to the characters and their love story. I didn't find myself really rooting for their relationship. I just couldn't get connected to it. Again, I would recommend that you take a look at other reviews about this book as well. Again, Amy Harmon is a beautiful writer. And if you are interested in reading the book, I am going to provide you with a link down below for the Kindle version as well as the paperback version. Like I said, I mean, it's a beautiful book if you just want this beautiful beauty on your bookshelf. I mean, I'm going to keep it. It's a, you know, Amy Harmon sent it to me, so it's going to be on my bookshelf back here. So one quote that I did want to note from this book that kind of stood out, and it is very relevant today as well. And the quote is, if you want people to change, you have to show them what it looks like. So there you have it. So again, I will have the links down below for you. Next up on my reading list is Layla by Colleen Hoover. We are reading this in Reading Brings Us Together. Actually, discussion day is tomorrow. So I will have a link for this one down below as well. I am not very far into this one, but I will have a review up for this one in a couple of weeks as well, so that you will know my thoughts and my likes and dislikes about this book. And as you can see, I always have lots of books up here that I'm in the process of reading, or I want to read, or I have already read. So if you're interested in knowing what some of my favorites are, let me know down in the comments, and maybe I'll do a top 5 video or something like that for you. So let's get into really quickly some music recommendations. So today, my top 3 songs on my playlist were See You Again by Miley Cyrus. We have Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. And then finally we had Valerie by, it's the Glee version. There's several different versions of that song. This is the Glee version that is performed by the late, beautiful Naya Rivera. So if you want to check those songs out, download those, let me know what you think, add them to your liked playlist. I would love to hear what you think. TV shows that I'm currently watching. Currently, we are watching Manifest. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix. We actually watched them when they were on cable on NBC. And the third, might be the 4th season. I don't know what season we're on. But anyway, the more recent season is available. You know, ours is called On Demand on our local cable. But the most recent seasons are available on there. We are also watching Clarice. If you have not watched that one is a spinoff of the Silence of the Lambs movie from, gosh, I don't even know when it was out. But anyway, Silence of the Lambs, if you haven't seen that movie, you need to see that movie. And if you haven't read the book, you need to read the book. I haven't read the book, but I love the movie. I probably need to read that book. So anyway, Netflix TV shows that I always try to share with you guys. And I can't remember if I've shared these because it's been a while since I've done this video. So Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce is one that I'm currently watching. And it's kind of, you know, it's kind of predictable. It reminds me a lot of Sex in the City, but the ladies are divorced. Everybody's rich. They live in Los Angeles and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of predictable. I'm watching it every now and then. It's not one that I'm kind of like, oh, I can't wait to get back to it. It's like I'll watch it when I can. The other one that I did really enjoy is Jenny and Georgia on Netflix. If you haven't watched that, that one's a fun one as well. So that one only has 1 season, but it has been renewed for further seasons. There are several movies that I've watched on Netflix. I can't remember them all. Again, it's been a while since I've done this type of video. I'll try to remember some of those and write them down for the next time. But I did notice that there are a lot of good movies from the 90s that are on Netflix right now. So if you haven't seen them, for example, My Best Friend's Wedding stars Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, and what's the guy's name? Dermot Mulroney. That's My Best Friend's Wedding. Love that movie. I had the DVD of it and watched it all the time. Love the soundtrack. It's just so fun. And then 2 Weeks Notice. Sandra Bullock is like one of my favorite actresses. And of course, Ryan Reynolds is in that one as well. I mean, what can I say? Ryan Reynolds. So anyway, if you haven't watched either of those are some good recommendations if you're looking for something to watch. And a couple of movies that I did watch recently on Netflix that I did remember. One, I believe it's called Always Be My Maybe. And it is a romantic comedy. And then Two Hearts. Two Hearts is actually based on a true story. So it was, you know, kind of dry and kind of boring and kind of cheesy initially. And then the last 45 minutes, I kind of bawled my eyes out for like the whole last 45 minutes. So be prepared. All right, so I think that that's all that I have for you guys today. As always, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Please like this video, share it with your book peeps so that I can get out there. If you want to read any of these books that I've talked about today, I will have the links down in the description bar, as well as a couple other recommendations of recent reads that I have. And I will see you guys the next time. I am Sincerely Cindy Settle. I am signing out.